Welcome to S.E.R.E School. And S.E.R.E in the military, it stands for Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape. But in this instance, this stands for Strategic Earning in Real Estate. Okay, strategic earning in real estate. This is a concept where I believe military members, their families, their spouses, their coworkers, you're uniquely positioned to go be successful and earn additional income or primary income inside of the real estate market. I think a lot of it has to do with what you already know. You PCS, you move, you know people that are moving. You're literally in the midst of a constant in and out, buying, selling homes, buying new homes, moving to new locations. I mean, it can look like a single conversation with somebody can turn into a buy, a sell, and then a referral for another buy in another location. So you can literally get 3 transactions off of a single conversation from a single family. And now this also gives you and your family insight into this world. So if you've ever been interested in investing and thinking about real estate, whether it's long term when you get out or short term while you're in, this is a place where you can begin to understand the numbers. You can begin to understand the markets, how you can kind of read the tea leaves and see what's going on. And so getting your foot in the door of real estate opens up a world of opportunities, not just the earning, but there's multiple layers to this. Okay. Now I know every brokerage is different, and I'm not saying my brokerage is the best. I'm saying it's the best for me. At mine, what happens is every time I sell a house, I not only get paid from that transaction, but I also get an opportunity to purchase stocks at a discount from the company. So now I'm becoming an owner of the company that's paying me. They bonus me on those stocks. I have no monthly fees. Okay. And then I also can build downline revenue. So as agents join underneath and I begin to pour into them from like a mentorship standpoint, which is what this is, that is what S.E.R.E School is pouring into folks so they are ready to hit the ground running when they get their license. As they come into my downline, I get to what happens is they close transactions, they pay the broker. The broker says, you brought them into this business, so here's a little piece of our money because you brought them into the business. So basically, the brokerage is bonusing us on stock purchases, and they're sharing their revenue with us as we bring people into the business and grow the brokerage. All the incentives are aligned. I think it's a fantastic place. And again, no monthly fees. So just FYI, that's a huge one. But today we're going to talk about leadership inside of real estate. So leadership is one of the most essential elements of success in the real estate industry. And I want to create a generation of military real estate leaders where you come in and you just, even without a ton of experience, you have a mindset, you have a will, you have the equipping that you need from this training to be able to go out and set a standard and basically say no military member is going to be left to the side. Now, let me share something with you that kind of spurned a lot of this. So there's 2 places that really got me into this. One was a statistic. 18%. 18% of qualified military people are currently using the VA loan. The VA loan is almost always the best loan product in existence on the market. Almost always the VA loan is the best product on the market. Lowest fees, lowest rates, lowest down payment, no mortgage insurance. Usually if you pay less than 20% down, you've got to pay mortgage insurance, which is an additional cost. So the mortgage is more expensive because you didn't have money in the first place. But the point is the VA loan nixes all of that. It gets rid of all of it. It gives you leverage, and there's so much more depth to it where there's ways you can pay off credit card bills through closing. Like there's 1,000 ways to use this thing to your advantage. And so 18% of qualified VA loan users are actively using that loan. So that's number one. Number 2 is a guy named Alex Hormozy. He literally has come out and done exactly what I'm doing. And I'm copying and pasting his thing for my specific thing. So he does gym work and like brick and mortar sales, kind of membership type stuff, tanning salons, gym memberships, those kinds of things. And so what he does is he just gives away stuff for free. Just constantly, overly, and abundantly. He is just giving stuff away for free. And what it's doing is it's creating the people who bring money back into his world, because his business now is investing like taking ownership, partial, small ownership in a business that's doing $1 to $3 million a year and turning it into 10, 30, 50, 60, $80 million a year, and then selling that thing and everybody cashes out. That's his business. So what he's doing is he is giving away for free all the strategy structures, the ways to actually take yourself from 0 to $1 million to 3 million so that then you're a business he could invest in. And now, because he's sewn into you all that free stuff, you feel like that's obviously the dude I want to talk to get to 10, 20, 30, 50, right? He's gotten me this far. Why wouldn't I go back to him? This is that. That's exactly what this is. I am here giving you this stuff for free that I 100% could charge for because I want you to be free and I want you to do the same thing for the people that come behind you. I just want to create a generation of thoughtful, mindful, value creating, give it away for free and watch that value return to you. So this school, you are participating in the thing that I'm actually going to teach you to do. Create value for people, excessive, abundant, more than they could actually imagine or think. Create that value for them and then watch them bring value back into you. Watch them champion you and tell their friends, family, and everybody, this is the real estate agent you should use. This is the model. This is how you build a successful business. It actually doesn't matter if it's real estate, if you do it in the military, if wherever you do it, you'll see results come back to you. So this is where leadership comes in, right? This is where, as a leader, you balance and maximize resources, skills, strategies to achieve success. This chapter right here, what we're talking about, section 1, is we're talking about how you can achieve this by exploring the principles of leadership. So be something, know something, do something. That's what we're talking about in this first section. So let's talk about that. Technically proficient in real estate. So actually understanding supply and demand, how money works inside of real estate. What are the technical proficiencies that you're going to need? And so we're going to build out training that is technical, boring, but technical. And then we're going to build out other training that is more mindset. It's more how to think about going about the business, because I can't come in here and say, you should do what I'm doing and create this course and shoot these videos and because that might not be you. You have to decide they say a lot of times your vibe attracts your tribe. And so whatever vibe you're putting out, whoever it is you want to work for, you want your approach to match that person. That way you're attracting the people that you actually want to be in business with. You're not handling folks that you don't want to work with. If you love dealing with first-time home buyers, young families, then working with investors may not be the thing for you, because family is emotional. This is a big deal. They don't know what they're doing. They're first-time home buyers. There's all of this reward through that system because you're literally helping these people, guide them along the way. Investors, it feels real cold, calculated. It's all money. What's the timeline? How much does it cost me? What's my return? What's my exit strategy? Like, that's the investor side. And so it's just two different worlds. One's not better than the other. It's just about you and what your proclivity are, like where you lean, like who do you think you want to work with? And some of you may be sitting there and saying, well, I have no idea. Well, then you just try both. You do some stuff for investors, you do some stuff for first-time homebuyers, you do some stuff for veterans, right? And you move your way through the system until you kind of nail down what the perfect client looks like. So you got to be able to accomplish all tasks required for success. I mean, that sounds self-explanatory, but I really felt like I needed to mention it. You have to be able to accomplish all tasks required for success. A lot of people have visions of what they want to be and where they want to be, but they don't have discipline to do the steps to get there. I'm the same way. Like, look, I want to be about 20 pounds less than what I am right now. I know exactly what I need to do because there's information available everywhere in our modern world. I'm just not doing the steps that it's required. I would rather sit on the couch and watch Netflix than actually discipline myself, eat a salad, and go to the gym more, or run, for God forbid. Because once I got out of the military, running in my past, right? Unless something's chasing me. But you want to know what is required. And so we're going to lay out what the required tasks are to be successful. And it's way simpler than you think. And everybody in this business, maybe not everybody, most people in this real estate business, they know what is required and they still don't do it. You're going to be different. You're going to be different. You're not going to come through this training, spend this time, which is your most precious resource. You're not going to do it and then go off and not execute on these ideas. Courageous, committed, and candid. So you courageous just means that when you're fearful of something, you go after it anyway. It's not the absence of fear, it's the unwillingness to let fear dictate what you're going to do. Fear's an enemy, and why would you let the enemy tell you what you're going to do? So being courageous is when you're afraid to be on camera, when you're afraid to have that phone call, when you're afraid to deliver bad news, you don't let that fear dictate what your behavior is going to be. You tell it what it's going to do and you carry on, right? Committed, that means that you're going to set goals. We're going to have an accountability system, so it's not going to be anytime soon. So we're probably looking 12 months down the road, but we're going to create a coaching team leader accountability system where you can then work. Now, this is not going to be free. This one's going to be paid for because it's people's time, right? I don't mind giving my time away for free, but I'm not going to commit others to giving their time away for free. Now, if between you and your accountability partner, if you have a wingman and you guys want to hold each other accountable and you don't want to pay for a system, great. I think that's awesome, right? But you actually have to hold each other accountable. You actually have to create goals, visions, reverse engineer those things, figure out the steps you're going to take, and then every week check in with each other and see where you're at. Are you moving the ball down the field? Candid, that means being honest. Being honest. So many people get into business and they make excuses. Well, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, or my brother did this, or my wife said this, or, my job, I'm just exhausted when I get home. Excuses. You have to decide what you want. And so the point of this initial conversation is, hopefully, if you don't feel like you can be courageous, committed, and candid, you can be honest, overcome fear, and discipline yourself and commit to what we're doing, you shouldn't be here. Because you're going to go through the process of getting your license. You're going to go through the process of moving towards something that you think is going to be easy. Okay. But nothing is easy that's worth doing. It's always work. Now, I know I've said that being a passive agent, being a referral partner is not difficult, and that's true. But if you want to be a very good referral partner, like maybe the best that's in our S.E.R.E school community, if you want to be that, it's not going to be easy. It's going to require discipline, commitment. It's going to require that you're honest with yourself. So the reason honesty comes in is because you have to be honest with where you're at and what your limiting beliefs are. What is preventing you from stopping running around the same mountain? That is stopping you from actually going after your goals? What is the thing? What is the lie that you are believing? And so being honest with yourself hurts. There's no way around it. It hurts, right? Because you're basically attacking your own ego, because your ego is preventing you from doing stuff. Your ego tries to blame everybody else instead of taking personal responsibility, which is the thing that gives you control, right? If something's not going the way you want it to go in life, you take responsibility, okay? Even if it's not your fault, if you take whatever responsibility you can bear, what happens now is you've taken control of the outcome of that situation in the future. Because if it's everybody else's fault, if it's just arbitrary, everybody else, it's the world, it's the universe, it's the boss, it's my wife, it's my friends, it's my family. If it's everybody else, then you have no control over the outcome. And you're hopeless. This is where depression sets in, right? Depression is hopelessness. Anxiety is having too many choices and not knowing which to pick. Hopelessness is depression. Anxiety is having too many choices and not knowing which to pick. And so my goal is to get you guys to pick a niche, go down a road, stay disciplined, stay committed, watch this thing change your life. And I'm not even saying you have to do this for the next 60 years. I'm saying use this real estate, like I am, as a method to generate cash so that then I can build a storehouse. I have excess, right? And then from that position of excess, I can begin to use money to make money instead of my time to make money. And that's going to be the evolution of S.E.R.E School. That's how we're going to take this thing down the road in the future, is we're going to keep evolving. And a lot of this is just kind of following my path, like what my goals are. And I'm just bringing you along for the ride, the lessons that I'm learning, the discipline that I have, the mistakes, the failures that I've made, where I'm missing it, where I need to be better. And I'm just bringing you along so that you don't have to go through the same stuff. I'm 40 years old now. And so, like, you get to glean from my wisdom and not have to generate your own, right? Stand on my shoulders and be better than me. Like, that's my hope, is that you guys outrun me, that the students from this course sell more real estate, make more money than I ever could imagine. So that was B. Okay. All right. That's B. Now, no, there's four major things that we want to talk about when we talk about knowing. All right. Clients, you need to understand their needs and how they affect each other. So, like, what specifically? Now, most people, when you talk to humans, just like I'm talking to you, most people don't know what they want. They've watched HGTV, they've looked in a magazine, they've been on their phone app and seen a video of a house on Facebook or whatever, and they've got kind of a general gist idea of what they want. Now, what happens is they'll give you a whole list of things. You'll go show them houses, and it's like what exactly they described, and they still don't want it. So what I've found out is they don't know till they step into the right property. It's just you just know when you're in the right house. And so when they tell you these are the parameters, you always want to kind of broaden it out and kind of think through what they're saying. Now, a lot of this can be helped by asking the right questions. Now, this is how you create clients in the first place, but two, this is how you help and serve your clients in the second place. So by asking open-ended questions, this is how you uncover all the stuff that they actually want you to see and get to the stuff that you actually need to hear, right? And so you keep asking, well, why do you say that? What makes you think that? What is your opinion of the price of this house? Like, you keep asking these where they can't give you a yes or no. And a lot of times they start with why or what, right? And you hit them with these open-ended questions, and you mirror what they say. So this is a little bit from Never Split the Difference. Great book. If you haven't read it, go read it. But he talks about repeating back to them what they're saying. So if I'm hearing you correctly, this is what you're saying. So you're saying X, Y, and Z, and then they say yes and there. And so what you're doing is you're getting on the same page. You're building rapport and trust. They know you're somebody because you keep asking them questions. That makes them think you care about them. Now, actually care about them. This isn't manipulation. The difference between manipulation and influence is your heart posture. Like, what is your actual intention behind it? You can still want to be successful and sell a house on the tail end, but your interaction with this person has to have nothing to do with that. It has to have everything to do with this person and how you can serve them better. That's how I'm building this course. Not about my goals. This is about how I can make you better and successful in real estate. And if I stay focused on that, this will be successful and it will yield success for me in the future. And so this is a place where when you ask these questions, genuinely care about the human being. Don't think about the money, the potential transaction, what you need, what you think. Be in that moment with that person and dig. Right? That's how you get to depth, is you got to dig. And so just dig into this stuff and keep asking them questions until you actually figure out what they're looking for, what they want, what is the baseline of this whole thing. Now, you're a leader, so your role and influence as a real estate professional, you need to know what you're doing, which is why we have this training. The market, know current market conditions and trends. It's not as complicated as it seems. I'm going to go over supply and demand and market conditions in one of these training classes. And so fret not. I'm going to show you what that means. And then communication. Let me just tell you, the easiest way to stand out over every other agent is following up, communicating, talking to these people, text them, email them, send them videos. One of my favorite things that I started doing is doing a selfie video and then texting it to them. I learned this from my buddy Jesse Peters, Mr. Social Savvy. Awesome human being, but he uses video to make things social because people don't like being on the phone. A lot of times you can't have in-person, face-to-face. And so shooting that selfie video, sending it to them, it makes a huge difference. It brings a connection, which is what you want, because if you can make your clients go from being just a transaction and a client to being a fan of yours, they're going to tell everybody they know that is buying, selling, moving, PCSing about you. and how you treated them and why they should use you, right? Right. Yourself. So, effective ways to communicate clients, colleagues, stakeholders, yourself, the strengths and weaknesses of your own character. This is that honesty. Be candid with yourself. Know where you're at and begin to build yourself into exactly what you think you should be or what you want to be. Right. Seek continual self improvement by developing your strengths and working to overcome weakness. You don't have to be the best by tomorrow. You just need to get 1% better each day. There's a book called Atomic Habits. If you haven't read it, it's a fantastic book. Go. My favorite way to do reading, by the way, and you can do what you want with this, is I buy the physical book and I buy the audiobook, and I open the physical book, let the audiobook read to me while I follow along. This is the only way I don't get distracted, and like, because they'll say something in the book and my brain will just go off into never land, and I've got to ground myself again and go read the paragraph again. Well, if it's reading to me and I'm following along, it's enough engagement that I can stay with it, and I actually soak it into my brain so I can use it in my life. And so, but you don't have to be better tomorrow. You just need to get 1% better each day. All right. Your team members, your classmates, look out for their well-being by providing training for the rigors of the real estate market, taking care of professional development, disciplining, rewarding, being appropriate with each other. Like, this should be a place where we build each other up. We don't tear each other down. This should be a place where encouragement, discipline, calling people out when they need to be called out, because when you love somebody, you don't just say nice things to them. You tell them what they need to hear. Love wants what's best for the person. So if the person's not doing what's best for them, then there's a correction, there's a discipline, there's a calling out that has to happen to shift them back into the place where they're going down the pathway. Now, that being said, the caveat to that is you've got enough of your own problems to deal with. You don't need to fix everybody else's, right? Just be vulnerable and tell everybody what you're working on. You'll find people doing the same, and y'all can collaborate on how to fix that thing together. Now, lastly, we want to talk about doing. Be responsible, take responsibility for your actions. Exercise initiative, don't wait, be proactive. Demonstrate resourcefulness, find the answer. Like, don't worry that you don't know it, because there's information everywhere. Just go find the answer. Hey, you know what? I don't actually know, but I'll tell you what, before this day is over, I'll have your answer. I'm going to go find it. Take advantage of opportunities in the market that will lead to success. So put yourself in a position to be successful. Don't just build it and wish on it. Don't just get a real estate license and sit around. You actually have to put these tactics, strategies, mindsets, this movement into place. I'm telling you, it is all about sowing and reaping. It is all about putting something out so that you get a return. And now when you sow, when you're a farmer, the ground matters. So you can't just give good seed to crappy ground. So you got to be thoughtful about where you're putting the seed. So whether it's video, in person, what it is, like, what are you sowing into people? How are you generating value for them? And then if you do that, you're going to yield a harvest. You're going to get a crop in return. And then accept fair criticism. Humble yourself. Get rid of your ego. The ego is it's the biggest enemy. Another good book, Ego's the Enemy, Ryan Holiday. I really suggest it, because your ego is going to lie to you. It's going to make you not take responsibility. It's going to blame everybody else. It's not going to let you hear criticism, which a wise man accepts criticism, because even if the criticism's wrong, you take it, be humble, accept it, say thank you for that, and then you go think about it and see if it's actually true, and then begin to shift yourself, man. That's a benefit. They're helping you up level, even if it hurts. Right? Look, the perfect example is lifting weights in the gym. The weights don't want to be moved. They're heavy, they're difficult, and it hurts. Like, you're sore, like it hurts to move those weights. You can hurt yourself, you can be sore, all of that stuff. They don't want to be moved. But that resistance, the reason it doesn't want to move, the reason that it hurts, that's what yields growth. So why would it be any different in like interpersonal relationships? The resistance, the friction, iron sharpens iron. You sharpen a knife with another piece of metal. You don't use like a noodle or a piece of rubber. You use something that is of equal rigidity, right? That is just as hard, that is just as difficult. Like, that's what you use. And so iron sharpens iron. So allow yourself to be sharpened. Humble yourself. Get your ego out of the way. Now, assess situations rapidly. Okay, this brings me to a point, and I'll probably mention this later in this training. I might mention it multiple times. Jocko Willink talks about detaching, observing, assess, and make a decision, right? So he talks about it in an extreme environment. He's talking about bullets flying by your head, people, you're downrange, and people are shooting at you bullets. This guy's got shot. He's screaming, meds there. There's chaos all around you. He said, if you get sucked into that chaos, you're not going to be able to observe anything. You won't be able to make a decision. He said, the only way to act is to detach yourself from the situation, get out of that chaos, observe what is actually going on, almost like you're floating above it, observe what's actually going on, decide, make a decision, and then act. And then you do it again on repeat. Okay, we've moved here. Now, detach, observe, make a decision, act. It's the same thing in business. Detach yourself from the conversation, from the relationship, from the potential opportunity. Observe what is actually going on, make a decision, and act. Okay? You have to set the example, serving as a role model. This is huge because my idea is that I generate this first flood of you guys in S.E.R.E school, and then you begin to carry the torch for the next generation that comes after me. That I get to up-level some of you into team leaders who then begin to bring the message that I started that you can continue carrying. So we generate a culture of success. We generate a culture of responsibility. We generate a culture of humility, of honesty, of integrity, of excellence. That we pursue these things where not only are we getting better financially, but we're getting better physically, mentally, spiritually. Like we are up leveling ourselves across all fronts because they're all interrelated. If you become really good financially, but you stop taking care of yourself, you're not even going to get to enjoy that money because you're going to die because you're sick, because you didn't take care of your body. And so like we have to make sure we're well-rounded, taking care of all aspects. Okay. Build the team by training and cross-training your team members until they are confident in their technical abilities. Develop a team spirit. That's what this is. That's why I labeled it S.E.R.E school, because when I actually went to survival school at Fairchild Air Force Base, you have to depend on your buddies. You have to. You're doing land navigation, your degree off, your half degree off, you're walking for 13 kilometers. You could be 6, 7, 10, 20 kilometers off path. And now you've got to walk another 10 kilometers to get back to where you need to be. And so like you have to depend on your teammates. It's why curating a healthy culture is so important. And that's what we're trying to do here. Know your capabilities and limitations, delegate to others, find assistance, find your spouse, find a coworker that you can partner with and lean into your two strengths. Don't try to make your weaknesses better. Find somebody whose that weakness is their strength and work together, partner up in that place. Effective leadership in real estate requires a balance of technical proficiency, self-awareness, responsibility, and the ability to inspire and develop your teammates, your clients, yourself, your spouse, your coworker, your partner, whatever. By adhering to these principles, you can achieve success and lead your team to excellence in this real estate industry. That's what it's all about. That's your intro to S.E.R.E school. I hope you loved it. I'm excited about this. We're going to get more technical and into more details as we keep going. So that's video 1. I'll see you guys in the next section. Peace.